Welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. Welcome, folks. Good to have each and every one of you here with us. Release the comments. Isabella Butters, good to have you. Good afternoon, Isabella. Pace and power to you as well. Pace and power. Good to have you, folks. Person of interest. It's Wednesday, isn't it, Rita? My co-host is here. She's on her phone, texting away.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Yeah,
Good.
Alex
Say, how are you
Boom has
doing?
just showed up. Please and thank you. Roll out the red carpet, please. Alex is up in the hizzer. Good to have you, Alex. Did you still say it like that? Up in the hizzers. Good to have you, Alex, and all the other folks joining us around the world, like Gwyneth Anderson, like Donna David. Donna, this name looks familiar. Really looks familiar. Donna David, Donna David. Where do I know this name from? Donna David. Good to see you, Donna. Rock and come in. Romy Leander's here. Good to see you. One of my attorneys is a Leander. So I know got to be good people. It's good stuff. Romy Leander, Magnell Barrow. Good to have you. Yeah, Tasanki Waldron. How are you, Tasanki? Good to have you. Good to have you. I don't know what's supposed to call it today. I'm sorry. Melissa McFarlane, how are you? Rock and come in. June Chase. Good to have you. Valerie Thomas is here as well. Who else do we have? Folks, are you hearing us loud and clear? Roncher Harris, good to have you, Roncher Harris. Avril Goodman is here as well. And Magnell says it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Magnell says it's lovely weather in Brooklyn. I added the rest. I was ad-libbing.
I was
Lovely
wondering.
weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Back up the man, Rita. Shucks.
I am not going to embarrass myself today. Not going to embarrass myself.
Arjun is here. Valerie Thomas. Cleon Thomas says good evening. Please and thank you. Somewhere in the world. Could be midnight for all I know. Good evening to you too. Stacey and Stott, Patricia Isaacs, Graves Andy. Our person of interest. If it's Wednesday, we're looking at a person of interest. But we're looking at the Commissioner of Police acting AG dot. Commissioner of Police Clifton Hickens is the person under our microscope today. POI. Poi. A person of interest. Bernice Bob Carter. How are you doing, Bernice? You know, my second son, Ethan Lee, his name is Carter, but we took the French version of Carter, Cartier. Ethan Lee Cartier Duncan. Yep. So I know Carter. And we chose that off of the late great poet Martin Carter. But I love names with a little French in it. So we took the French version of Carter. Cartier. You know, a little extra. Good to have you, Valerie Thomas. Paulette Hicks. Paulette. Good to have you, Paulette. Petula Boyce is here. Princess Tasha. We person of interest we will be focusing on today. Who we opening the file on? Clifton Hickens.
Yeah.
Carol Forrester, Lyndon Gill, good to have you, and all the other folks joining us, like Sharon Albert and Princess Tasha. Princess Tasha, how are you doing? Princess Tasha. Patricia Kissoon, Dawn Fraser is here, people. Please and thank you. Right? Please rise and let's celebrate the moment. Dawn Forrester is here too. Jackie Beard is here. Jackie says good day to everyone on the live. So I'm just letting you guys know. Jackie says respect and manners, greetings and salutations. Anne-Marie Selby, Dexter Beard, and I see Timothy Mortimer, right? Mortimer, Timothy Reynolds, Sean Caesar is here. Sean is here.
I know a Sean Caesar.
You know Sean? He's a
I
good
know
person.
Ash Sean.
Oh, you know Ash Sean?
Same Sean.
Okay, you can vouch him?
I'm not sure if it's the same
No,
person.
but the Sean that you know. You
Yes,
you get a recommendation for him?
Yes, I could. I could give a
Good.
recommendation.
Good. George N. That's how we know him. George N. Dot.
George N. Dot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good to see you, George. Welcome. Candy side died. Yeah.
Candy is out and about.
Yeah. Out and about. You know, Candy energetic. Candy's daughter is celebrating a birthday. Her daughter.
Lovely.
Did you know that? Her daughter
And I know also I think Warren Figueroa have a grandson
Oh
celebrating birthday
wow.
today as
Warren is a
well.
granddad? When did that happen?
Warren has
So
been,
young at 35? My lord. When did that
Thir-
happen?
35.
Adopted granddaughter?
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow. Happy birthday to all the
He
people
said,
celebrating birthdays
I think
today.
I'm reading it here. It says our first grandson is 6 today.
Oh, 6 years ago?
Yes, so Warren has been around the block
And
for
Warren
quite a
doesn't have any
while.
gray hair, no rocking chair.
This I'm telling you,
Still
you
looks
know,
kind of
different,
fit.
different.
What's this world coming to? What these people eating now? Is it processed food, you know?
It's a processed food.
It's a processed food. Vicky Kerr, Valerie Thomas, Wilma Grant, Simone Greaves. Good to have you. Mavis Davis well. Edward Gonzalez joining us from people from where? From the Bronx.
Of course,
From the Bronx.
Edward. Here, Edward, you know.
Marlon says, hey. That's what Marlon.
All the information that's circulating in the Bronx, we can get from Edward, you know.
Marlon Jacobs says, Sharon, hey. Good to see you, Marlon. Lyndon Gill, Audrey Edwards, Alana Chang from Port Kaituma. I like this name, Alana Chang. It has a ring to it. You know, like I'm wearing Alana Chang, you know. My perfume is Alana Chang. It has a kind of ring to it.
She's
you know.
assured.
Kelston Camden, Alana Chang.
Listen to valid, incredible information.
Yes.
So says
Yes.
Wilma Grant.
Yes, listen to Wilma Grant, please, people.
Yes.
Even if you don't listen to us, listen to
Lysis
Wilma.
Mingo Bourne and Kevin Pierce.
Yes.
How are you doing, guys?
Yes.
How are you doing over there?
Yeah,
Let
good
me
to have you
know.
folks. Kelston Crandon and Alana Chang. Mayburn. Good to have Mayburn, Deborah Pearson. Mavis Davis well. Faith, we see you there, Faith. Good to have you, Faith. Yep. Rami Leander says that happy birthday to my eldest daughter. She's 23. Rami?
Wow.
My Lord.
You know, when I get to that stage, I'd probably be scared.
My Lord. Eldest daughter, 23. That's nice. Charwin says he's tuned in from Atlanta. How's Atlanta today? Oh, yes. Wilma Grant says this is one of our favorite programs. We're so happy, Wilma. Thank you for those very kind words. We're so happy. We accept. We accept. Folks, our person of interest today is Clifton Hickens, the Commissioner of Police acting, the COP acting, the cop acting, the Commissioner of Police. Yep. Lots happening in the police force. And the buck stops at Clifton Hickens. That's right. I said something wrong. You know, people say, if I say something wrong, tell me. Sometimes I don't really want to. I say something wrong. You know, we speak very uniquely as a people, you know. When you analyze our language, our vocabulary, our sentence construction, the structure in which we speak, we're different. You know, if I say something wrong, tell me. You know who just showed up? Ghana Spectator has just shown up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, has just shown up. Welcome. Hope you had lunch.
He's late for work.
Yeah, you better earn the salary. You better earn your brown bag. Better earn your brown paper bag. Rhonda Spence is here as well. Azim Ali says Miss Finance. I ain't here, like a short.
Yes, Miss Fernandez.
Azim Ali says Miss
Hey,
Finance. Like a short.
how are you doing?
Like a short. Like a Ashley Height.
I have gotten to a stage, you know, that
Age and stage.
I've gotten to the age and stage. Diana Spector, he's just a few minutes late, but I'm at the age and stage that I appreciate the feedback, positive or negative. And there are times when once there is no negativity in the feedback, you start to think, you know, that, you know, something, I'm not pushing hard enough. I'm not saying something right because, you know, the trolls have to be here.
Yes,
without the trolls, what are we doing?
Troll lives matter too.
Yes, exactly. So you have to get to that stage that you appreciate every single aspect. But I have to say that I respect persons more when they come as through their own profiles and they give their statements.
Correct.
Because this is how they feel about it.
Come fulls, don't chase.
Yes.
Come
on, guys. You don't have to hide and all of that.
Yeah. And you know what?
I don't bite.
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. We love the rest of the After Dark show. For the After Dark. All the time. You hear that? No, she mixed a little bit with Dalrymple. She got a little Dalrymple position.
Or
She
this
don't,
the
she don't bite all the time.
Suarez, you know, the footballer.
Suarez. You don't bite all the time.
Suarez would be in the middle of a game and put a bite in
Right.
someone.
So
Oh goodness.
here is where we are, folks. And the person of interest is the Commissioner of Police acting. And Omani Small, we see you there, and all the other folks. True Lives Matter too. So welcome, Ghana Spectator, and all the other folks. Patricia Kisoon, Yvonne Ramasar, and Karen. Welcome. Karen's name has welcome at the end. So it's welcome to the title. And that's
Yeah,
Karen,
my best friend, that's his surname.
welcome, Karen. Welcome.
My best friend is Colin Welcome, like one of my best friends, like over 20 years of friendship.
He's a good person.
Extremely, you know,
You find so?
he's exceptional. Yes, like I hold on to friends. Like I have had 2 friends for over 20 something years, and when it comes to other friends, Sharon is my only other friend.
Oh my.
I gotta say it. That's it. I have I hold friendship at a different level. I just don't go around calling everybody my
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
So,
You don't just throw wrong friend like me.
no,
It
of
means
course,
something.
it
to you.
means something, you know.
Yes.
You go through so many different people, and then there's some real genuine people that you reach along the way in life, and you just hold on to those people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can't appreciate that. Can't appreciate that.
Yeah.
Can't appreciate. That's the way you gotta do. That's the whole thing.
How long we've been friends for, Sharon?
About 30 years though.
No. No, how
About
many years
30
has
years.
that been? I don't know.
A couple of years.
A couple
We're young yet in
years.
this business.
We're not. It's not. How many years have it been? Is it like
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe
Young yet in this thing.
about 5, 6 years?
Yes,
now?
about that. About that.
I'm not
Come to come.
sure.
I'm gaining mileage on the others. I gain them mileage. We coming to come. You know. Looking forward to that day. Right? By and by. We can get there. But good to have so many of you. Good to have so many of you. I see Karen Miller's here. Fitz Gulliver. Fitz, thanks to the thing, my brother. Fitz Gulliver, thanks to the thing. It's made a world of difference. Thank you. On behalf of all of us at this end. Thank you. To returns. Thanks to the thing, Fitz. And all the other guys.
Yes, guys, I'm seeing Yvonne there. Yvonne Ramasar
Yvonne
in the
is
comment
here? Wow.
section.
Yes, I saw
Yvonne
Yvonne.
is-
Yes.
And Marlon Thomas, guys, we're seeing you because I'm monitoring from Facebook.
Yes.
You know where I do
monitoring,
my,
monitoring.
you know where I do my the podcast from. I'm always on the Facebook side of the comment section. So folks like my friends Candy and so forth don't get my attention. Apologies.
Yeah. I find it got a bias. The Facebook end of things.
So Edward Gonzalez and my ex-father-in-law was Carl Austin, and during his leadership was not the situation it is in now. And during his leadership,
Oh, this is the police
situation-
force?
yeah, Carl Austin. He says his ex-father-in-law. You see these things, ex-father-in-law, and all of these things.
Yeah. I say once father-in-law, always father-in-law.
That's what I'm saying.
If Carl says his ex, I don't want to get into that, you know. Maybe there's a lot of issues there, a lot of things. But if you want to talk, Carl, we can send you the link and you come through it. Tell us what some of the issues that has brought you to ex-father-in-law. You know.
I see Wilton Blue saying, I'm in with a plate of noodles. So Wilton
Wilton,
is
thanks for the
reminding
thing,
us
thanks for the thing.
that Wilton's reminding us that this is lunchtime. We're gonna have lunch a little bit
Yeah,
later,
yeah,
I guess, you know.
Sometimes you lose
I
track of
have
the
some
scent.
message John and asked him if he's feeding me today because God knows I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be cooking.
You hear that John sneaking there? So neatly. I got a message, John. He's part of the family now, you know.
Yes, he is
Right.
family.
Never watch a program a day, but he's part of the family now.
Never watch, listen to me. It's very rarely that he doesn't
Oh
look
yeah,
at the program.
he's
And if he doesn't,
he's
he goes-
fan in chief.
he goes back and look at it if he doesn't get a chance to get live. And so he's very supportive on that.
That's what he
regard.
tell you?
I'm not telling you. He refers to the content, so he knows
Oh yes,
what's up. He knows
yes.
what's
Keeping
up.
up. Very
Yeah.
commendable.
Yeah, you know this
Yeah.
thing you have to
Us
have very
men got to
supportive-
score with points anyhow. We got to score them. Points got to score.
Even if you say look at the program and you didn't.
Points got to score. Except what he said.
Oh goodness.
Points got to score in the dub.
As what is
Right.
let me see. I just missed
Who
the
else do we have joining us?
comments.
Who do we have
I
joining
just
us?
missed Oh my
Clifton
goodness.
Hickens, person of interest today, folks. We're coming down. Coming down. Bear with us.
Clifton Hickens, top cop, acting there as is. Lots going on there. I see Paul Rogers is here with us, joining from the Savannah, the beautiful, beautiful Savannah. Lovely to have you here with us today. And I see, is it O'Neill? Yes. Hey O'Neill, what's going on at your end? Is it Cheyenne Butters? How do you say that?
Sharon Sion.
I'm not sure.
Butters. Miss but Butters.
Okay, okay, okay.
Send us in a voice note. We'll pronounce it.
Send us a
Send in a voice note. We can pronounce it. Yeah. Who else we got joining us today?
I
Clifton Hickens is the person of interest.
see
Folks.
Juliana Douglas is saying Barticians locked in on our lunch break. Of course, Bartica, the best song in the country, absolutely amazing. No other like it, no other could come close. We have everything, the scenery, the people, we just got it locked. Sure could take it however he wants to.
I feel attacked. I feel attacked seriously here by these allegations. Seriously attacked.
Allegations are things that cannot be proven. These are proven facts. Proven facts.
Who told you to say that?
It is there supported by the data.
Who told you to say that? Folks, good to have each and every one of you with us today. Our person of interest is the Commissioner of Police acting, Clifton Hickens. We tell you we're coming wrong. Because we don't like what happened in the police force. We don't want to like him. If Clifton could be listening in, good afternoon, sir. You got a lot of things to answer for. So whenever you're ready to come on the live, you let us know. I'm certain you can handle yourself. Known you for a little while and think you're able to handle yourself. So we're gonna, whenever you want to come on, you just let us know. We can facilitate.
Gladstone Matthews, hey Gladstone, what's going on at your end? Linden in the house. Linden is in the house. Sharon Bartik is in the house again. I see Avril Swan is there. How you doing? All right. As Imali said, I admire you at the PAC, Miss Fernandez. Well, thank you, dear.
I was just about to say, without you calling him, that I'm not part of the PAC. But it's a good thing, specify. I was just about to say I'm not part of the PAC.
Yeah, well, the PAC is gonna get a whole lot more content from me because the PAC is designed to be as unbiased as any grouping of people should be, because the PAC, the major concern in there is to make sure that the government spends taxpayers' dollars in a right manner and not in a corrupt manner.
Correct.
And no matter who is in power, that should be the system in place. So
Correct.
very important body there, and it is of course a pleasure for me to serve at that level. Very insightful, I must say. A lot of reading to be done and research as to the way in which things should be done within the country and so forth. But I've been doing all my research and all of that, and I can say that I think I've gone through several years of piece of Auditor General's report. So that's something, and it's very, very interesting to see the failed systems that we have had as a country for decades without any real attempt to have change to that, because of the back and forth between government and opposition, regardless of which is involved, and it needs to be fixed. That is something that I'm going to advocate for very, very strongly. We have to have a bulletproof system when it comes to corruption. We have to fight to get there. It's an uphill task, but we have to get there.
Yep. True and correct on all counts. We got a lot of work ahead of us to do, folks. A lot of work. Let us know what you're having for lunch, where you're joining us from. And we're about to get to it, guys. Making sure we got all our ducks lined up. And listen, share the live, smash the emoji button. And you know, folks, we always ask that you guys partner with us. We can't do this without you. We just can't.
No.
You just can't.
We cannot do it without you. You are the lifeline of FYI below the belt in the ring.
Yeah. You are good people. That is the wonderful role that you guys serve. And we're so happy to have each and every one of you Yep.
Buxton in the house, pace and power, dear Andrew. Hey, Andrew McGarrell, lovely for you of you to join us this midday. And Joan, I see you there. Joan Ramasindo, how are you doing? Let me know what's going on. I see Guyana Spectators very fast at the keyboard. You know, I need to hire somebody like Guyana Spectator when it comes to data entry. A whole lot of record keeping needs to get in order when it comes to government ministries and so forth. The biggest issue, Guyana Spectator can send in a resume there very quick with the keyboard and so forth. May actually get some better pay for a different job. Oren, I see you there. Oren Mark Singh. Oren Mark Singh says there's a little bit of echoing. I don't know if anybody else is hearing that. Let us
So you
know
can take some of that out.
in the comment section if you are hearing a bit of echoing. We're
Bit
trying to
of
be very
echo.
responsive here. Benita Parker. Hey, Benita Parker, how are you doing? What's going on over there? Benita Parker is there in the comment section fighting the good fight. You know, she's saying before you come here with your ignorance, challenging folks learn to spell with. My dear Guyana Spectator, Benita is on that case. You know, you got to be sharp with these folks.
Excuse me, folks. Excuse me. Yep.
Guyana Spectator says Anil Nandalal will bring a Douglas in the house straight from Buxton. Guyana Spectator knows something that we don't know.
Pim.
Somebody should tag Mrs. Nandalal in
Pim,
the comment
Pim.
as we move forward.
Good to have each and every one of you, folks. We're talking about Clifton Hickens, Commissioner of Police acting. The person of interest today, folks, and you know that the Commissioner of Police acting is no person who is a stranger to conflict. He's not. By any means, I've known Clifton Hickens. Let me be honest with you guys. I've known him. Seemed to be a fairly decent fella. Again, referring to the Chronicle article on the Botheration concert. Mayhem aside, it was a good concert.
Procedure aside.
Controversy aside, he seems to be a decent fella.
And procedure,
Seems to be a good fella.
And the procedure, I think we had this conversation even prior. We did, and my opinion has not changed from that time to now. We were saying it, and I always remove when it comes to this individual and the conflict that persons are dealing with right now, the procedural breach altogether in the appointment. That is the matter that needs to be addressed,
Yeah, because the police force right now seems to be in a free fall, and the buck stops at the head. Clearly, Irfan Ali wants him as the commissioner of police. It would appear that way. And one has to ask the question, why? Right? If you all see I get a big job suddenly with them boys, a big job suddenly, right? You're gonna ask why? What happened? They suddenly like you. Right. So where you see catfish them pushing? For Clifton, something is up here. Something is up. That's so. Something is up.
I look at it from two different angles. It's either someone that they really want or somebody that they definitely don't want.
So they could be
who is the other person there?
It's a setup thing.
Who is the other person there? That they're probably running from with all their life. You never know. Listen, you never know with the administration. You absolutely never know. But I want to say that if they are they have so much interest in having Clifton Hickens there, in that post, why did they not go around it the right way?
Yeah.
Why did they not go around it the correct way? Why did they not proffer the arguments at the level of a consultation there with the leader of the opposition as to why they believe that he is the better person? Why did they do it in a manner that they know will be challenged?
Yeah.
So because of that, I want to know if they actually,
what's happening? Well, we could be wrong there. We could be wrong there because one of the things we're talking about here is, let us start with the advent of Clifton Hickens, and this he would probably be smiling at as a man who's religious, as a man who is a person of faith. The advent of Clifton Hickens, because this is not the first iteration we're seeing here. We know of Clifton Hickens with what transpired in Linden, rather, 2011, 2012, when Sharma Solomon and Vanessa Kissoon and those other leaders of Linden, were on the front line, with that tariff increase for electricity there, and kind of literally withstanding the pressures from the administration in all its form. And we know that when the protests started at Linden, when that revolution was rising, somebody gave the instructions to open fire on the protesters, and we know, the rest, as they say, is history. There was loss of lives there. And since that time, Clifton went down in a lot of people's books.
Yeah, and I've been noting those
Went down in
comments.
a lot of people's books. But I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I've been watching my brother here for a little while now. As I said, controversy aside. Controversy aside. Right? Irfan Ali seems to like Clifton Hickens. So there was the advent of Clifton Hickens in the Linden saga of that 2012, 2011, 2012. A series of protests resisting high electricity tariff for Linden when the PPP made no real economic empowerment possible for Linden. And that's why we smile now when we see them making overtures to various communities in Linden. It's about time. You had 23 years and you didn't get it right. It's about time. So don't think that people believe it's your own money. It's the taxpayers' money. It's about time Linden get a fair share of the pie. But that Linden experience was going to be one of the things that really shaped people's opinion of Clifton Hickens. That Linden experience there. A lot of people didn't like it. I won't lie to you. A lot of people didn't like what went down there. Right? Because the protesters were unarmed. They were peacefully protesting. And for issues that were of the time very grave. So that's part of what went down. The advent of Clifton Hickens was that Linden experience. Right? Forged either way in the crucible of that moment there in Linden. And the PPN moved too far from that time, when they never used to give Afro-Guyanese community much. They moved too far from there. 7 ministers recently it took to carry a basketball hoop and a lawnmower to Buxton. 7 whole ministers. Right? I know Clifton is a strong man. He threw up on his shoulder and run with that by himself to Buxton. 7 ministers. They carry a little lawnmower and a basketball hoop to Linden, to Buxton.
To Buxton.
So that was the advent of Clifton Hickens. And then there were the Granger years. We saw him as, I think, a division commander. And then he moved to, I think it was, is it operations commander? He was in charge of training at the Ghana Police Force. And then something happened, and he had a secondment, I think, to, what was that ministry that with passport officers on? Ministry of Felix headed it up. Minister Felix. It's Richard H. is showing now. That ministry, he was seconded there. And then for his second coming, as it were, we saw Clifton reinstated after the new administration took over and moved to the front of the class. And with such things happening, Matthew James, you got to ask if Granger did wrong. When you see this interest that the PPP has taken in Clifton Hickens, you got to ask if David Granger was wrong. Right? Of course, that ministry was Ministry of Citizenship. I think where he was seconded. If Granger was wrong. So we see now Clifton Hickens is where he is. And it's a weird thing that has happened recently, and Jarita alluded to it a little earlier, in that Irfan Ali, in his naivete, would have gone ahead. And based on advice of the AG, who are winning too many cases recently, the AG told Irfan in a meeting, a matter of fact, he was trying to bully Irfan, really and truly. He said you can make the appointment on the basis of necessity. You know, you don't want the police force, you could argue, you don't want the police force to be without a substantive head for too long, a head for too long, because substances would have been confirming him as commissioner of police. And so Irfan Ali took the bait and went ahead, Gregory Greenwich and Robbie Leander, to install Clifton Hickens as the acting commissioner of police, sidestepping any meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition, right? But Anil came back in another meeting, and I made to understand that Anil said, Big Sahib, you know, I was wrong about that. And more so now that the leader of the opposition, the Honorable His Excellency, Aubrey Norton, is challenging them before the High Court. You know, and the Attorney General don't want another loss, because you know they've already told him if you lose another case, you know, we got to make some changes, right? You might got to take social services or youth sports and culture, one of those things, because we can, right? They ain't gonna let it come up to what other administrations may have endured by any means. They ain't gonna let it come up to that, right? But I tell them it's not that something is wrong with Nandilal. You understand me? I'm not gonna try to score a cheap point off of Nandilal. But let me rephrase that. Nothing is academically wrong with Nandilal. Let me just put it in that phrase.
QC boy.
Right? Yeah. He's a QC boy now. You know, he's a chatry. You know, he's a self-confessed chatry. Right? So academically. I know he passed one or two subjects when he went, what do you call it? UV Cave Hill and so on. And Roy Hill say he used to borrow his notes and that kind of stuff. And
so he got good notes.
He got good notes. He got proper notes he used to take and so on. Take from Roysdale. So he know a couple things. But it seems to be something with that AG seat. I don't know. Right? I don't know. Like somebody bad ID AG seat or something. But that thing, like when you sit down there, like all your senses go out. I want to say it in a better way.
Logic's door.
What did Shakespeare said? He said, reason is fled to brutish beasts.
Goodness.
And men have lost their reason.
Whenever Sherrod starts to speak
Right.
like this, you know, and quoting Shakespeare and so forth, I said, you know what, Sherrod said, you need to go do your readings. I know literature was never your strong point. I'm always with the numbers.
I was a good literature student. So, and as an aside, Mrs. Philip Neary, you know, I don't know where she is in the world, but she was a big lady since I was a student at high school 20 years ago. So if Miss Philip Neary was, let's say, 50, and I add 20 to that, she's going to be a big woman now. She was an Indian national who was living here and starting literature in English. And she always used to tell them, you see, Duncan here.
She was teaching literature?
And English language. An English national, it's always the accent that used to caught us on camera.
Oh, lovely.
And she used to tell them, y'all see, Duncan, you're worried he can pass the exam and left some of y'all leave. She was right.
Who did you leave?
Right? A lot of people left behind. Right? Last minute Mississippi boxing, show them literature texts. Doing my work, pass literature. I think I had a grade 2, I think. In lit. But you don't distract me when I wax in here.
Do your thing.
Reason has spread to brutish beasts. Whoever's sitting in that seat at the AG. It's like reason flees to brutish beasts. And the AGs lose their reason. That's the point I wanted to make. Right? So I think he's a boy with a couple things. But I think everything. But he's a boy with a couple things between the ears. So they have told him, if you lose this one here, you're in trouble. So he came back and he told Catfish that, listen, what I told you initially, forget all of that. Forget all of that. Right? It reminds me now of my law lecturer, Miss Amsterdam. Short woman, powerful woman, very educated woman. I think she works at CARICOM. In my undergraduate years at university, she was our tutor or lecturer for criminal law and something else. First day in class, she said, whatever you learn in law, forget it. Before you come in this class, wherever you come with, forget it. You know no law. I said, well, who's you? In my mind, of course. I know a little something. Whatever you know, Allah, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, whatever I tell you before about necessity and appointing the commissioner of police, forget it. Don't ask me why. Shucks. You went Ivy University, I went Queens. You're not allowed to ask me why. I ask the questions here. That's what he said. Don't ask me no questions. I'm telling you, forget it. Whatever I tell you last week, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
You need now to go and to consult. And that's what's happening. That is where they are currently. The president, Irfan Ali, installed, of course, appointed Clifton Hickens to act unilaterally out of necessity. You know, the law allows for necessity in certain instances. You know, the country cannot be without a government. Somebody has to form the government. So out of necessity, there might be the people you like, they might be installed, but there is the government. So that's how we appoint Clifton. And now we come back now to appoint you a second time. You see?
And that's the argument that they've proffered
He
at this point.
He wants to consult now. The first time he appointed out of necessity, but he realized legally, the on thin ice. He has come to consult now. So you're gonna appoint one man twice to the same post, only on the PPP. Right? I know Anil didn't learn that. He went.
I stopped at QC there.
St. Augustine.
Following from.
Right? He learned it there. He learned at QC. Right? But you see when you mix with transcriptome, catfish, and so on, that's the thinking they start exuding. He come back now to say, necessity the first time he appointed. Now you gotta go and consult.
I think they put him in a really bad spot to defend things that he himself knows he cannot defend, you know.
So Clifton in a tough spot because you know what? Clifton's position in the police force right now is a rags to riches one. You know what is it? One day, like Moses, you in the backside of the desert, right? And then the next day you Prince of Egypt. Yeah. One day you talking by citizenship, licking stamp in some back office, dark and dim.
Stamp, did you just say that?
Right? Sorry, Twitter. Doing
goodness.
meaningful work. Licking stamp is a bad profession.
I think we're
Licking stamp and mailing out things for Felix.
I have to say a shirt from himself right now.
And then the next day, you the Prince of Egypt. You understand what I could do to you? Next day, people driving you in Prado, sirens and saluting you. Hail to the chief, Big Sahib, Clifton Hickens. So Clifton in a tough spot. It's a rags to riches story. This is the thing careers are made up. Where does Clifton go from here? You go back to operations manager? Whoever comes in know you're a threat, so you're going out.
Yeah, but I have I get those things, but I have this issue, like, because I know that the Irfan and the whole cabal of them, they know that the man in which they appointed him is one that would have been challenged, and they know that it would not hold up to the legal requirements and all of that. They knew that. So for me to just say, to take it at face value that, oh, this is the man they want, and so they're going to have him there and put him through that process, that they know is one that is flawed and all of that. I have my own skepticism, you know. I have my very much of a different line of think, you know, with that altogether. Come on. If you want somebody to be in a position, would you not actually go out there and do things in the correct manner? Or do they believe, to the point, are they at the point right now that they believe that even if challenged in the court, that they can still get away with more?
Correct. But the matter becomes even more complicated for Hickens. It's not just his appointment that is being challenged, but the police, the Police Service Commission,
yes, exactly,
is also being challenged as unconstitutional.
That's huge. It's a huge one. That's
right?
A huge one.
And that has a basis now and a bearing
when
now.
When it comes to the promotion list.
Precisely. Because not only is his appointment being challenged, Irfan Ali did not consult with the leader of the opposition when he appointed the Police Service Commission, and he is bound by law. And what is even more frightening is that Nandalal comports himself and often says this, he's just constitutionally Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs. He added something to that. He said he's the custodian of the Constitution. It means he has a greater responsibility to upholding it.
That is correct.
And if the Constitution says you must consult on the appointment of the Commissioner of Police, if the Constitution says that you must consult with the leader of the opposition when you appointed the Police Service Commission, and you are not doing that, you are breaking the law.
Well, the strange thing is that the PPP administration likes to talk about constitution whenever it suits their mandate. They would go and stand on the mountain and shout about constitution until it is their time to uphold the requirements of the constitution.
Yeah. So you have that happening on that one hand. Hickens has not been appointed lawfully as Commissioner of Police. And they know they're going before Roxanne George Wiltshire, the Honorable Chief Justice, and she can lambaste them on that. They know they're going before the Honorable Roxanne George Wiltshire on the issue of the Police Service Commission and no consultation on that. And so they're trying now to mop up and to tidy up by saying, let me consult after the fact. You see the madness here? And as the learned Director of Finance, the Shadow Minister of Finance, has just said, this affects now the promotions list. You can imagine last week, the Police Service Commission was finally constituted and appointed and all of that. And they've done walk through 140 names and vet and approve promotion. They have already done that. But good folks, Bonita Elias Parker.
Hence, they are in the issue that they're faced right now also with the individual that is on investigation and his name being a part of that list also.
We'll be coming there.
Yeah.
Money for Gilbert Jones, Yolanda, Karen Archibald, Marlon Thomas, Hardial, Susankar. This is what you call purgatory and confusion powder. When you open the dictionary and you look for that word, you see these issues right next to it. Purgatory and confusion powder. And I want to bring to your attention, don't take my word for it, a former senior police officer, Clinton Conway, right? He retired from the police force as Assistant Commissioner of Police. He was senior. He wrote a letter in the papers this morning that captures the same confusion, powder, and purgatory in specific reference to the Police Service Commission. The header for the letter in Starbuck News is, this illegal police promotions list is bloated, inaccurate, and misleading. Clinton Conway, who understands these issues because as a senior officer, you had to. He says, according to the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Drida, the Police Service Commission shall consist of 5 members. Here's the story now. Only 4 were unconstitutionally sworn in as members of the commission. There was no meaningful consultation between the president and the leader of the opposition before the members were appointed and sworn by the president, which is a clear violation of Article 210 of the Constitution. Conway goes on. Hear what he says next. He said the 5th member must be the chairman of the Public Service Commission. And you know why there is not a 5th member of the Public Service Commission or the Police Service Commission?
Because the Public Service Commission ceased to exist.
Because the Public Service Commission ceased to exist. Like I just heard somebody say that. It's confusion, powder, and purgatory. And Clifton Conway says here in his letter to the editor.
And whose fault is that?
Right? It's whose fault? You're calling him like a whistle. Whose fault the Public Service Commission is not operationalized? Conway says the last Public Service Commission Life ended over a year ago. So that at the time of this appointment, there was no chairman to be sworn to fully constitute the Police Service Commission. The Minister of Governance, Gail Teixeira, recently wrote the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, inviting him to have consultation with the president in relation to the Police Service Commission and the other commissions on July 4th, 2022. Conway ends his letter by stating thus. He said, this is a belated effort. Here's what they're doing now. Remember to mop up and tidy up the unconstitutionality of not consulting with the leader of the opposition. Conway, a former senior member of the police force, former assistant commissioner of police, he said this belated effort to legalize the appointments of the members of the commission, that is what it is about. Only when the Police Service Commission is fully constituted can it be operational and then set a quorum to carry out its work, like vetting, the promotion list, etc. That is what he said there. Now we come back to Clifton Hickens, because this is part of the basket of issues on Clifton Hickens' back, you know. He unconstitutional, the commission unconstitutional, and everything that they do, right? In law, you would say the fruit of the poisonous tree. Everything that flows from this now becomes illegal. And so I want to get back to Hickens squarely, because a letter was put to Gail Teixeira after she wrote on the appointment of the Commissioner of Police. Remember, they done appointee out of necessity, and now they want to come and appointee a second time. Does he get double salary? I mean, if you're driving one vehicle now, you just get a second one. If you got 15 bodyguards, you just get 30. If you're appointed twice, right? Because it's like there's two police commissioners one time. He's 2 in 1, right? So a letter was returned to Gail Teixeira with some questions, very substantive questions that must be asked. Folks, means some valid and credible information, right? Valid and credible information. That is what we want, and we're not settling for anything less. So don't come wrong with funny. Please and thank you. A letter was sent asking some questions on the first appointment, because they got to tidy up that business of the first appointment before we get to this second one that they want to have. You see, it's confusion powder in this country. Now, if you're going through a little social studies books in this country that's done got its own bundle of errors, and you see Clifton Hickens, Commissioner of Police, them children confused.
Oh my goodness. Because
he got to wade through all of these issues, to come to sense of what really is the role of Clifton Hickens in the government. A lot of questions got to be answered. But we're coming down. Hold on. I want to bring that letter to you, because it has a lot of import. It has a lot of import where it concerns Clifton Hickens and where he is constitutionally. I mean, like, after this program, I wouldn't surprise if people stop saluting him in the police force when he walk by. Right? I would be surprised, because they can say, like, from where you derive your authority? From where do you derive your authority? Because that's one of the questions that is being asked. So this is Roycedale Ford, excuse me, replying on behalf of the leader of the opposition. Very short, thirst letter. Roycedale Ford, Senior Counsel, Member of Parliament, and Shadow Minister of Legal Affairs. Hear what Roycedale Ford says. I want to get to the meat of it. Let me run through it quickly for you. Right? Who's sharing the live, man? Who's smashing the emoji button? There's a whole set of illegal people in this government. There's a whole set of illegalities in this one government. Right? The court doesn't tell we. Lion Ownage Waldron was a dual citizen when she became a minister and was squatting in the National Assembly illegally. Well, squatting and illegal is an oxymoron. She was squatting, but for emphasis, illegally. You see, I know my English language. I know the rules and I know how to break them. Don't come around me funny. In addition to that, you have the permanent secretaries. Right? The speaker might be squatting in the National Assembly right now. Himself. But we know the whole pack of them install anyhow. Right? But listen to what the letter says. Listen to what the letter says. He says, Royce Ford, Senior Council MP, I am authorized by Aubrey Norton, leader of the opposition, to reply to your letter addressed to him dated the 29th day of June, 2022. Your letter of the 29th day of June, 2022, informs that the president considered it his constitutional duty to appoint Clifton Hickens to act as the Commissioner of Police with effect from the 30th of March, rather than leave a vacuum in the command and superintendence of the Ghana Police Force. So they're admitting he's already appointed acting Commissioner of Police. Royce Ford says in his letter, your letter, Gail Teixeira, nevertheless proceeds to ask to engage Mr. Aubrey C. Norton, leader of the opposition, in meaningful consultation in respect to the appointment at caption. This is a second appointment of Clifton Hickens as Commissioner of Police. It's madness. His Excellency, in nominating Clifton Hickens to act in the office of Commissioner of Police, right? That's what you want to do again. It is our considered opinion, Royce Ford says. I love the law. Right? I love the law. I love it. It's about language and logic. It is our considered opinion that a prerequisite to engaging in meaningful consultation, that clarity be provided in writing on the following matters. And here are senior counsel breaking them down. Is the president seeking to exercise his constitutional duty on two separate occasions to appoint Clifton Hickens?
Royce is basically saying the man has already appointed him, and now he's coming asking.
Right? Like, if I forget, while he was thinking about the cemetery, right, and the Bakus he got to deal with, the Karen Crows and the Jumbie Boards, he said, while he was thinking about the cemetery, like he forget, he don't appoint the man. He forget his installed madness. He forget he already appointed the man. So that is what Royce Ford is asking. That is what the question is teasing out. I hope Gail got the intellectual capacity to understand this. Right? So let me run that question again. Is the president seeking to exercise his constitutional duty on two separate occasions to appoint Mr. Clifton Hickens to act in the office of Commissioner of Police of the Ghana Police Force? I hope that's too difficult to catfish, to assimilate, and appreciate. Question two. What was the basis of and the constitutional provisions which conferred on the president the constitutional duty that you refer to that he exercised, which resulted in the said decision to appoint Clifton Hickens to act in the first place from June 30th? Because remember they said he was appointed. Let me go back to the precise words on the basis of his appointment. Because this is what Royce is getting at, right? He was appointed not to leave a vacuum in the command and superintendence of the Ghana Police Force. That is what this necessity. He was appointed out of necessity because they didn't want, according to them, according to Gail Teixeira, who Ford is quoting in his letter, they didn't want to leave a vacuum in the command and superintendence of the Ghana Police Force. Right? The vacuum cleaner, they work in properly. They want to leave a vacuum. That is why Royce Ford is asking, senior counsel is asking the second question. What was the basis constitutionally for you to appoint him then? If you're coming now. Right? What was the basis? The constitutional basis the constitutional provisions which conferred on the president the constitutional duty that you refer to, that he exercised and resulted in the decision to initially appoint Hickens, right? Where he got that authority from if he now come in to do the right thing. The PPP folks are the biggest lawbreakers in this country, right? They commit the biggest infractions against the Constitution, and it is led by the very guardian and custodian, as he fashions himself, of the Constitution. And thirdly, Royce Dilford asks, if indeed there's an error in your letter with respect to the declaration that the president did in fact consider it his constitutional duty to appoint Hickens to act in the office of commissioner from the 30th of March, can you please indicate now on what basis and authority the president is now exercising that constitutional duty yet again? Folks, this government's so upside down and turn around, right? They know the head from the foot. They're not qualified to manage a corner shop, and to even say that, it's to give corner shops a bad name. To even utter it in English language, our mother tongue, is to abuse the English language. They're not qualified to even run a corner shop. Earphone had one thing to do, Twitter, and only Earphone could kerfuffle it like this. You consult with the leader of the opposition, and out of that process emerges the commissioner of police acting or substantive. It's simple, right? You consult, the consultation is meaningful, they agree or whatever it is, and it produces the commissioner of the police. Earphone go, he appoint Clifton Hickens, and now we're coming back to consult. Oh, Father, you all had one thing to do. I don't know what Jack Dio mean when he said he like engine room work, he like run the front, he like, because if this is engine room work, sweet Jesus, the engine bad, right? Something in the engine not working right to producing this kind of leadership is poor, is incompetence. And in any decent country, if this had happened in Trinidad, right, the AG would have fallen on your own sword. The Japanese got a tradition of honor. When you mess up, you stick out your own sword. You don't wait. And you fall on your own sword. In any right-thinking country where democracy prevails and rule of law and incompetence is shunned upon and frowned upon, the AG would have fallen upon your own sword. You understand me? But in this country, promotion commit. Promotion commit. He's the kind of thing they look for. He is the kind of thing that they look for. And so this is the limbo that Clifton Hickens is in. Right? He just said he was appointed. He got all the frills. 4 cars and 40 outriders, horsemen, trumpets blow when he's coming and going. Right? Helicopters fly overhead. Right?
You're pushing it.
And he said no. I is commissioner of police. Right? And he has to come back now and say, make me commissioner of police again. Just to make sure. It's madness. But you know what? I want to look at another side of this whole conundrum. The journalistic side. You know, Guyana Daily News don't know when they're good.
Oh my goodness.
And the Guyana Press Association just read them the riot act. Right? They're 1 inch out of being labeled a terrorist organization. But they're learning, and then checking learning, and then got the propensity to learn. It's apparent. It's apparent. Because Guyana Daily News for a second time has gone into endorsing people for public office. I have never seen that in this country. I can show you an article. I can read the head of an article for you. And if that is not an editorial, if this is not campaigning, you know, if this is not endorsement, and the first time we saw this is when Robeson Ben got in some trouble. They say all of a sudden Robeson Ben is the man for the job, right? And they believe in Robeson Ben. I've never seen anything like that in my life, right? They have now entered from journalism. They have now entered into the political realm. But what we can say, if I had a security firm and Robeson Ben had to agree to the licenses and so on for the firm and the firearms and so on, I might have come out swinging for it too. I might have come out swinging for it too, right? But now they come out pulling for the commissioner of police. I wonder why. I wonder why. Perhaps it's because the commissioner of police supervises the private security sector and so on. I wonder why. I wonder why. Folks, there are no coincidences in politics. There are none. Right? There are none. There are no coincidences in politics. Right? I'm looking for the header. Because when I read it, I said, the Guyana Press Association, see this?
Guyana Press Association, see so. Guyana Press Association has been calling out a lot of folks, I have to say. They have.
I wonder if we can find that release out of the Guyana Press Association. Here's the header.
You found it.
Here's the header. Right? Guyana police force on the rise with Clifton Hickens at the top.
I think that's some blatant campaign.
The Guyana police force on the rise with Clifton Hickens at the top. The Guyana police force is on the rise with Clifton Hickens at the top. Now, I don't see that in quotes as attributed to some politician or what have you. No. This is Guyana Daily News. Right? Themselves. Remember the same people who tell me that the man was free. Christophe, what's his first name again? Slipping me. The man who's accused and alleged to have murdered Mr. Bacchus. Right? This is Guyana Daily News. Guyana police force on the rise with Clifton Hickens at the top. Oh, Father.
Well, I do know that.
Where we in this country here?
I think it's none other than your finale had called out some Guyana Daily News when it comes to the reporting that they put forward.
Yeah. Right. I'm looking for the word. It's something like inciting and so forth. Right. As a matter of fact, the Guyana Press Association says Guyana Daily News is not an organization they would consider as a mainstream news entity. Right? Thankfully, they had to say that about credible sources or in the ring or FYI. But look at the campaign in Guyana police force on the rise with Clifton Hickens at the top. Is that what they deduce when policemen, are being sent off to jail for obstructing the course of justice, being charged with murder?
Carl Greenwich said Daily News is
Is that the Guyana police force is on the rise with Clifton Hickens? And don't let me stop there. Folks, members of the jury, let me enter some other evidence to support the contention and proposition that I'm here making. Let me supply some other evidence for you folks. Hopefully, you can consider it. And in your estimation, you will see if this is the man for the job. Right? You will see if he's the man for the job. I wish to turn your attention to Exhibit A. Right? This police force in free fall is in free fall. If this is a police force on the rise, I don't know what is. Do you remember the Guyana police force election had to do 2 times? Because the first result, not the Guyana police force, the Guyana police force officers association, all officers association, whatever they call it, the police association. They had to do the election 2 times because the Tabras didn't like the result, the first round. And the second time, they did the election. Right? It was so bad. The Caribbean Police Force Association disassociated themselves from the result in the second instance. Right? This is a police force on the rise. That when the chaplain for the Ghana Police Force prayed against corruption, right? And corruption and bribery and nepotism, Solomon Gamara, defy him. This is a force that tell you on the rise. This is a force that tell you on the rise. It's a police force in which the president called the last commissioner, the last chairman of the Police Service Commission, and tried to interfere with promotions. Paul Slow said the president called him and asked why certain people were not being promoted. That is interference. That's a force on the rise. Right now, good folks, right now, as we speak, right now, Alicia Motilal, Clyde Fowler, Margaret Nelson, Gail Watson, Diane Graves, and the GT boy, Gala Spectator, right now, they got $300 million missing from the Ghana Police Force. And Ghana Daily News is telling me it's a police force on the rise.
The same police force?
Same police force right now. You got members of the Ghana Police Force before the courts for fraud. 300 million missing from the Ghana Police Force. You wonder why Brickdam gone up in flames? You wonder why the Office of Professional Responsibility of the police force went up in the flames subsequently? 300 million missing. Ghana Daily News tell me it's a police force on the rise. Vote Hickens for COP. Vote Hickens for COP. Ghana Police Force on the rise. Right? And then you had the Karim Bash report. You had the Karim Bash report. How could we forget that? The Karim Bash report. The Police Service Commission investigated allegations. A young woman felt that there was sexual misconduct with Karim Bash, right? And as we told you, while some people in other societies fall on the sword, the PPP promoted Karim Bash. He now heads SOCU, right? And the Police Service Commission.
Because with every bit of those allegations, persons are sent to the front of the class. Persons receive promotion.
The Police Service Commission. I want to get a notation from their report.
That's the administration. It's crazy.
I want to get the notation from their report because they had a finding on these sexual misconduct charges against Karim Bash, a senior officer of the police force. Right? I want to get the notation right. Because it was a report. I want to get the notation right from the report. I want a problem. Shambolics. Right? Here what the report said. Right? Here what the report says. I hope I'm quoting it right. The report, the header for the report was alleged breaches of discipline. Alleged breaches of discipline. It was presented to the Police Force Commission. There was not enough evidence presented to disprove or discredit allegations against the senior superintendent. There was not enough evidence presented to disprove or discredit the allegations against the senior superintendent that 2 female police trainees found his behavior towards them was of a sexual nature. You know the PPP did to such a man? They
Promotion?
promoted him.
It sounds like the PVP.
He had Soku now.
It sounds like the PVP.
The report went on to state, while from the information presented, there was enough prima facie evidence to support a criminal charge of sexual harassment. It is recommended, based on circumstance and the sensitive nature of this matter, that the senior superintendent, Karimbash, be charged for acting in a manner likely to bring discredit on the reputation of the Ghana police force. He was recently promoted.
You know, when it comes to those specific things, when it comes to sexual misconduct, those allegations are things that that we need to take so much more serious than it's taken in this country. It's absolutely ridiculous the way in which people look at these things and just bypass it as though it's another day on the dam. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
You know, in any developed country, such an allegation would have warranted persons immediately required to resign,
Yeah.
and or them being dismissed altogether.
Fall on the sword, or fall on the sword. But in this country, under the PPP jagabats and trench crappos, we promote them. And I ain't talked to y'all yet, right? About the men who have died under very suspicious circumstances by law enforcement, like Quindon Bacchus, like Aaron Boston, like Peter Headley. But Guyana Daily News says the police force is on the rise under Clifton Hickens. Right? The Guyana police force is on the rise. Vote Clifton Hickens. Basically, that's what they're saying here. Basically, that's what they say.
I see someone in the comment
That's what they call
section
journalism.
says. I see someone in the comment section said the only thing that they forgot to say is this was a paid advertisement.
Yes.
From
And then you hear a voice, I endorse this message. I endorse this message. Folks, we've gone a little bit over time. You got to tune in the ring for the rest.
You got to be in the ring tonight, folks.
For the
You
rest.
have to be there in the ring tonight.
How y'all doing, Sherwin Green, Deborah Clark, Ingrid Carter, Chinson Henry. Chinson says resign with benefits. Roxana Dessel Jacobs, Sherwin E. Green, Deborah Clark. Good to have you folks. June Daniels McKinnon. Sarita?
I am here, soaking in all as, sure, you put over everything so concise and to the point. You present the facts, and I know that's why people come to these programs, because they don't have to go out there and do the research. All the research is there. You've got it together. The evidence, the data, the facts has been presented prior, and you put it all together and you put it over to them in such a concise way. And guys, I know that we've been saying consistently that we thank you for joining us for all of these programs, and continue to do what you have to do to make sure that other persons benefit from the broadcast. Make sure that you share the stream and all of those things. A lot for us to discuss. A lot of
We
facts.
outside.
Yeah.
We outside. Get a spectator gone quiet. He was just, he started the hour by saying, Clifton Hickens is an honorable man. A lot of men that stab up Caesar was honorable men too. But get a spectator gone quiet. Right? Margaret Nelson says Trudy gets the last word.
I always get the last
Folks,
word.
remember to smash that emoji button, share it down live, and partner with we. Oh, we can't do it without y'all. We got Cash App available. We got Zelle. We got PayPal, MMG, MoneyGram, and Western Union. Folks, a lot of month and not a lot of responsibility. You understand? Get a spectator, send you something, man. You earn a lot of money here doing toll work.
Don't just come.
At least we get you work. Do something for me.
If we don't come on, you won't be getting a salary.
I'm telling you. So you help us, we help you. We all go down the road together. Rock and come in, folks. Enough love. We're going to see you guys right back here, dude. That's our time. That's our program.
Wilma Grant says it's not 8 yet, Sharon. It's soon, Wilma.
We outside. We there. Folks, we can see y'all later. Have a great afternoon. Go ahead and be great,
Have a good day,
folks.
guys.
Go ahead and be great.